Level 1. The Pre-Med Freshman. You're 18, 2 hours from home, unpacking a dorm room the size of a closet. Your mother cries in the parking lot before she drives off. You've wanted this since you were 12, reading about the brain in a library book. You declare pre-med. 400 freshmen check the same box this semester. By senior year, fewer than 100 will still be on it. Nobody warned you about that on orientation day. General chemistry, 8 a.m., 300 seats, a curve that means someone else has to fail for you to pass. You get a C+ on your first exam. You call your mother crying. She tells you it's one test. You learn the vocabulary before the material. GPA, MCAT, shadowing hours, research hours. In November, you shadow a neurosurgeon for 6 hours, standing against the OR wall in scrubs that don't fit. You watch a human brain pulse in open air under a microscope smaller than a coffee cup, and something in you locks into place. By finals, your GPA is 3.6. Not enough yet. You don't know if you'll be one of the 100. You just know you're not quitting in week 1.
Level 2. The Applicant. You spend sophomore and junior year clawing your GPA to 3.85. You take the MCAT once, a single Saturday that decides 2 years of work. You score a 514. Competitive, not safe. You join a lab, run gels, log data nobody outside the field will ever read, hoping for your name on a paper. You apply to 25 medical schools. The application costs almost $3,000 before a single interview. You rewrite your personal statement 14 times. Your mother frames the confirmation email like it's already an acceptance. Interview season runs October through February. You fly to 6 cities in a suit you can't really afford, answering the same questions about why medicine, why you, until the words stop meaning anything. In March, 3 acceptances and 9 rejections arrive in the same week. You choose a state school 400 miles from home because the debt is smaller. Average med school debt is $250,000.
You do the math anyway, and go. Your mother cries again, differently this time. You cry too. Level 3. The Medical Student. Years 1 and 2 are memorization at a scale you didn't know existed. Then step 1. One exam that used to sort residency applicants like cattle. You still study like your life depends on it, because in a sense, your specialty does. 3rd year, rotations. 6 weeks each, and you hate most of them politely. Then, neurosurgery. You scrub in on your first case at 4 a.m., holding a retractor for 9 hours while an attending removes a tumor a millimeter from a brainstem. Your legs shake. You don't leave. You decide, officially, this is it. Of roughly 20,000 U.S. med school graduates a year, about 200 match into neurosurgery. You take on research, extra rotations, away rotations at 3 hospitals, auditioning for programs that are auditioning you back. Match day, 4th year.
You open an envelope in a gym full of classmates. Neurosurgery. Your mother screams before you do.
Level 4. The Intern. PGY1. You are, technically, a doctor now. You do not feel like one. You work 80 hours a week, the legal maximum, and everyone quietly knows the real number runs higher. You round at 4:30 a.m. before your attending arrives. You lose your first patient in month 3. A subdural hematoma, an ambulance 12 minutes too late. You sign the paperwork. You go to the next consult. Nobody teaches you how to carry that. You learn by carrying it. You miss your best friend's wedding for a call shift you can't trade. You miss Thanksgiving. Your partner stops leaving notes about the dishes and starts leaving silence instead. You're too tired most nights to notice which is worse. You survive the year. Barely. 6 more to go.
Level 5, the resident. PGY2 through PGY6. Neurosurgery residency runs 7 years, longer than almost any other specialty. You operate now, under supervision that thins out year by year. You learn to drill a skull, to navigate a brain with a microscope and a millimeter of margin for error. You take overnight call every 3rd night for years. You catch 4 hours of sleep in a room that smells like antiseptic and old coffee. Your hands stay steady in the OR no matter how little you've slept. You train them to. By PGY5, you're chief resident. You run codes. You teach interns the things nobody taught you gently. A resident under you loses a patient for the first time. You sit with them the way nobody sat with you. You pass your written boards in PGY6. 11 years and roughly $1 million in lost income and interest, becoming what you wanted at 12.
Level 6, the fellow. 1 more year, sometimes 2. You subspecialize: spine, skull base, pediatric, functional, endovascular. You move again, a 4th city in 11 years, because the best fellowship in your subspecialty isn't where you already live. You operate on the hardest cases in the hospital now, the ones general neurosurgeons refer out. You're good. You know you're good. You also know exactly how much you still don't know, which somehow gets heavier before it gets lighter. Your mother is older now, her health starting to slip. You fly home twice this year instead of 5, because the schedule doesn't allow more, and you hate that the math works out that way. You finish fellowship at 33 or 34, 12 years of training since freshman orientation. You are, finally, ready to operate without someone standing behind you. Level 7, the attending. Your first solo case. No supervising surgeon, no safety net. The nurses call you doctor and mean it differently than they did in residency. You close successfully. You sit in the surgeon's lounge afterwards and don't mention that your hands were shaking before you started. Malpractice insurance alone runs $40,000 to $100,000 a year, depending on your state and caseload. You're on call 1 week in 4, and that week, your phone doesn't leave your hand. Not at dinner, not at your kid's recital, not at 3 a.m. You lose a patient on the table for the first time as the one holding the instruments. You call the family yourself. You operate again the next morning because the schedule doesn't stop for grief, yours or anyone else's. Your reputation builds case by case, referral by referral. 10 years in, surgeons in 3 states send you the cases they can't do.
Level 8, the veteran. You're in your 60s now. 40-some years since the dorm room, the shaking legs, the 6-hour shadowing shift that decided everything. You've done more than 4,000 cases. You've trained dozens of residents who now run programs of their own. Your hands, the ones you trained to stay perfectly still for 9-hour cases, have started, just barely, to tremble. You notice it before anyone else does. You schedule your last case yourself, on your own terms, a privilege most surgeons never get. Your mother didn't live to see this day. She saw the white coat, the match letter, your first job as an attending. That was enough for her, she told you once, and you believed her. You scrub out for the last time. A resident closes the incision under your supervision, instead of the reverse, the way it's supposed to go. You watch the same thing you watched at 18. A brain, pulsing, in open air. And it still locks something into place, 40-some years later. You did the thing you said you'd do at 12 years old. Almost nobody does.